Yeah, hello everyone. So welcome to my presentation. I share a screen. So I was prepared interesting topics about lighting atmospheres in VFX industry. So the first slide, here you can see everything in my presentation, what topics I will explain in the next slides. So my portfolio, in short, reference sources, shot deck, website, experiment, multi-exposure on film set and compositing, final shot after compositing, CGI multipass compositing, character passes merge, environment passes merge, cryptomate technique and dplyr and final render. So this is my works. So let's get started. So it's my portfolio in short. So when I 3 years bachelor studies, every school year I made one short author's film, each one are differently. So the first is The Lost, created in first year on school. That's a really short abstract film. And Home is my second art film where I experiment with VFX and cinematography. And the latest is Timeless. Is a bachelor project. It is a 9 minutes music video in one shot. So, and other works, I work on many projects as a freelancer, but I also work in a Slovak VFX company called Blue Faces, where I work on an animated series called The Legacy of Adam, which I will have in my presentation as an explain of multipass compositing. So, and sometimes I go to on film set and I VFX supervise it because to save more time in post-production. So let's, next slide. When I start creating a very project, I first specify how it will be looking atmosphere. I use photo libraries for inspiration and searching a reference for visual identity of project. You find a lot of websites where you can create mood board, for example, Pinterest or Behance for visual identity inspiration, and for example, ArtStation for CGI artists mostly, or Vimeo for audio-visual creating in motion, and Shot Deck. It is for filmmakers. So when you want to create a mood board, I recommend software called PureF, where you can very fast put together a lot of images. It's PureF, and latest time use a Shot Deck. It's very useful tool. On this website, you can find a large pack of film footages from film and in high resolution, which is possible filtered by mostly everything what you can imagine. So filtering by size, by year, by environment, by color, and many more features. That's cool, and you can save images in your library too. So and next part, it is experiment. It's my experiment. While I was for 2 years at home, I created an experiment that shoot the light atmosphere from same place during different times and different seasons. So So that's my experiment. For lighter or VFX artists in general, it is good to compare different light variation and change for learn how work the light and perception of colors, the intensity of light, and how natural elements be related with the atmosphere. For example, this is snow atmosphere, that's dusk atmosphere, daylight with skies. That's very interesting. So the next part is the multi-exposure on film set. My main interest in the master's degrees film is a multi-exposure lighting of scene, which in compositing has full control of color intensities and creation the right atmosphere. The biggest challenge for me is to create a multi-exposure in motion that is possible only with motion control, which must be set to the same movement several times. So that's a really hard thing. And this is the shots from a music video. What I'm doing. So we lightening separately background in forest with big light bulb, and in there inside the car light simulate the far light. So in this lighting is simulate the far flames on a tree. In this foreground lighting with light tubes. This is the character lighting separately, and that's the fill light of car, and that's the reference of fire intensity. So this is the final shot after compositing. It's a video. So blending smoke and creating the right intensity of flames, and softly flickering on trees, and creating softly haze in the shot. So this is a shot of burning car from a music video which we created a year ago. When we were creating a shot, I had to think about how to like parts of scene to make a lot good final shot. The positive way in this process is it can be placed light in the shot and will be mostly easy masked and retouched in post-production. I'm planning a similar technology for the master degree film, but use the high-speed shooting, so all scenes will be in slow motion. So the next half part of my presentation is a CGI multipass compositing. Together with my classmates and colleagues, we are currently working on a global project called The Legacy of Adam, where I created similar light atmospheres, but in 3D space. Multipass compositing is a very creative process where you can change any lights layers of the shot by using multipass layer, which we will explain right now. So character passes merge, how to work with all multipass layers in compositing. So character or environment layer are divided into many light groups. So explain it. Types of light passes character. The first light source is a global light created using a HDR map. The second light source is the main light, which is the most intensive light in scene, such as sun. And the third type of lighting is the fill light, which used additional light to part of the scene. There are other light layers such as backlight, but these layers are the basics, these three layers. So these lights groups are divided into some light subgroups according to the character of the reflectivity. So the first is diffuse, non-reflective type, and specular. Second, it's a glossy type, reflectivity type, and reflection, additional all reflections from the light and from environment. So the same in environment passes merge. And the environment passes has the same structure and same light group as character passes. So the same. Here you can see how works individual light source and environment. Every part of the layer is possibly editable and for a perfect light atmosphere. So very useful tool is a Cryptomate. When by using a specific color ID, when you're picking of color, this I can create a mask of the object and the scene and just easy edit colors or intensity and this mask. And Cryptomate is created from the material or the object in the scene in CGI when rendering. So, and the last thing is deep layer. If we want to know the real Z position on 2D footage, we need a depth map with which we can create the correct depth of field with from the camera. That's depth map. And with volume path, we can add atmospheric haze and on the scene and regulate it as needed. Okay, and the final, here you can see how we got from the play blast to the final version of the daylight atmosphere composition. That's a final image. And it was needed to add the colored sky from HDR map and last edits like a lens kernel, which often full footage because CGI raw render is had very sharp and edges, and add highlight reducer for white splotches. And last is film gray, my favorite, which great merge fall shot. So that's all for me. Thanks for your attention.
Okay, thank you for presentation. We could see a really great craft from Kevin, and we want from our students to have something special to have it prepared for professional career. So we could see it in Kevin Šimko presentation. And now it is time for question of Anna Gondova. So try to ask your question.
So my question is, what's the difference between filming on set and full CG regarding multi-compositing?
I think different is time, because in film set that's have really less time for production, you know, where place to light source, and it's really hard. And the full CGI, you can have a lot of time, because you can every layer in layer sources in your computer inside, you know. So
okay, thank you for answer. And Adam Greguš is prepared to put his question.
So, I would like to.
Do you have camera?
Yes.
Yes, we can see you. Okay.
I would like to ask, what do you think is, do you prefer, in regards of black screen footage to create an atmosphere, do you prefer rendered footage from a simulation, as in like Houdini, or do you prefer actual recorded footage with a camera?
I don't like black footage, because the not structure on there, and then I try to light any parts of the footage, because have the structure from lighting. And what's the question about Houdini? Sorry.
If you had to choose between, let's say, black screen footage of smoke, would you like the smoke to be rendered as a simulation, or would you like it to be recorded with a camera?
Yeah, that's the footage of from my library. So that's the recorded footage, not Houdini.
Yeah, I see. Thank you.